There y'all, I'm Tom, temporarily back from hiatus, and this is Empty Pantry Entrees, a place where you can come to learn all the skills you need to make delicious creations from only the odds and ends in your pantry. And today we're making a Greek tomato and cucumber salad that works perfectly on its own, or in my case, it's going to be a stuffer for a chicken shawarma. If we were going to be a little bit more traditional, this Greek tomato and cucumber salad would be great as a filling for a chicken gyro, but to be honest, I'm feeling a little lazy and I don't really want to make a homemade tzatziki sauce when I've got a pretty killer store-bought tahini sauce. Honestly though, the main difference between shawarma and gyro is just that, shawarma goes with a tahini sauce, whereas a gyro goes with, more of a tzatziki sauce, kind of that white cream and yogurt-based sauce. That, and there is a bit more variation and flexibility when it comes to the seasoning that goes into your shawarma blend itself. But without dragging on any longer, I think that it is about time for us to move on. Alrighty, it's been a moment since I made a video, so there's a lot of new tools in the kitchen. My favorite, of course, being this higher carbon steel Damascus knife that'll definitely come in handy today for all of the chopping we're doing. First, you'll want to liberate your large English cucumber from its plastic prison, struggling to strip away that last little bit. Now, for everything today, we're going for bite-sized bits. Section off half of the cucumber, cut again half to reveal a flat edge, slice longitudinally one more time, and then go for about yay big. Take all of those cucumber bits and slide them into a large mixing bowl. Next up is 2 washed and dried red tomatoes. For those, I'm a fan of halving, then slicing into wedges before turning and cutting across the second slice, so that you end up with these itty bitty little wedges. Bring them all over to a plate so that we can spread them out and awaken their flavor. All the salt for this salad is going to be put onto these freshly cut tomatoes so that we can get some real nice MSG production going. Then get your mitts in there to mix it all around. Trust me, this is the best way to get things incorporated, so long as you have clean hands. Set that aside to rest for a hot second, and let's move on to our red onion. Orbital slice it across so that we get a nice guide to work with, and then cut into a rough dice. It really doesn't have to be that specific, so long as we're getting about, Yeezus big. Bring that board over and slide her on into the bowl. Next up is the slightly milder green onion cousin, chopping through about 2 to 3 stalks, or until you get about a handful to toss in the bowl. After that, we're rolling a lemon to wake up the juices and cutting down the middle before placing the halves into the next new kitchen tool. Squeeze out as much as you can, and it'll yield about college dropout much. Saving the rest for another day, but we're going to be tossing in about 2 tablespoons of the juice into the bowl. On top of which we'll place just as much crumbled feta as your heart desires. Now is when we'll bring back those tomatoes from earlier and begin our seasoning with a wider camera angle. Starting to get a little claustrophobic there. Half a teaspoon of black pepper, an equal amount of dried oregano, and 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, as well as 3 tablespoons of olive oil, which amounts to 3/4 of this 1/4 cup measuring cup. Quick maths. Didn't want to dirty another utensil, From here, all that's really left is just a trip to Spin City with this mixture, and make sure to taste for seasoning and adjust as necessary. But for me, this is tasting just perfectly fine. 10 out of 10. And also at this point, you can make sure to flex on everyone with your superior volume estimating skills by choosing the container that just perfectly fits everything in. Or you'll end up compressing it down off camera so that, you don't have to admit your mistakes. One or the other. Tomatoes. Snap on that cap, give her a flip for good luck, and then store in the fridge for at least 30 minutes so that everything is chilled when serving. Now, if you're going to go the shawarma route like me, let's talk about the spice blend that I typically like to keep on hand. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, paprika, and cumin, followed by some scooping struggles with the coriander that ultimately yields about 1 teaspoon for the mix. Finally, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper for spicy. Spin that mason jar lid on and give her a whirl until it's fully homogenized. This deep red shawarma blend is a staple in my pantry, and I've always got a small batch of it mixed together for quick weeknight meals. Flipping that cutting board to the plastic side to prevent residual bacteria that could otherwise reside in the more porous wood. Big thanks to @dietitiangina on Instagram for teaching me that the other day. Then, I've been a fan recently of making 3 smaller cutlets with some of these larger breasts. Chopping it up this way helps to get more of an even thickness for the searing process, while creating a bit of portion control along the way. A little bit of salt and pepper on both sides, rubbed in well so that we know that it'll adhere to the meat as we're cooking, and then we're off to the stove with the cast iron on a medium-high heat. Now, this is the kind of sear that you're looking to hear. Also, now's about the time when you want to get your store-bought pita out and warmed up on a second burner, by the way. Flip after about 5 to 6 minutes, then check the temp after about another 3 to 5 minutes, aiming again for 165 internal so that we don't get any food poisoning. Trust me, not a fun experience. Into a big old bowl they go, sprinkled around with a bit of the shawarma and tossed with a spoon to evenly coat it all. Progressively add more seasoning as you go, just according to the taste and what you're feeling like that night. Now with your hot and pliable pita, slice it in half and pry open if necessary. I'm stuffing with a bit of spinach, that liquid gold tahini sauce, as well as a generous helping of the tomato and cucumber salad from earlier, and several chicken bits. And now, there is no way you can pack it all in and make it look super photogenic, it's just how it works. But I promise you, this weeknight meal is an absolute winner. Serve it up with whatever side you like. I'm going with a bit more of that tomato cucumber salad, but some roasted veggies would totally round out this meal nicely. Bring this beauty on over into center stage and let's just admire our beautiful pita pocket, and the tomato cucumber salad too, that's a good one I suppose too. Now that everything's chilled out, the salad is both texturally delightful with a crisp crunch, as well as culinarily interesting with notes of a layered savory and acidic freshness. 10 out of 10, you've done it again, Tom. But now for the shawarma. All that, layered into the slightly crunchy pita, makes for a delicious experience. But who am I kidding? The real star of the show is the tahini sauce. For me, that stuff is brought in by the spoonful for every bite. Honestly, can't get enough of it. All things considered, this meal is an absolute winner in my book. For now though, that's all I have for you today. The goal is to get back into posting a bit more regularly now that, life isn't looking as crazy in the foreseeable future. If you're new, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on this train wreck. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.